Top 5 coaches that could follow Chip Kelly's path from head coach to coordinator or out of college football potentially. And these are 5 guys. One of them hasn't worked in a year, but I do think that when he comes back, he'll be on this path. So that's this guy, number 5, David Shaw, former Stanford head coach. I just think that, look, he was already recruiting, up against it at Stanford, where you had a very narrow window of people that you could recruit because of the academic standards. Now you throw NIL and everything into the mix and how complicated it is. I think when we see David Shaw again, he'll be an NFL assistant.
Yeah, I mean, that would make some sense. He's a really talented guy. A lot of people respect the job that he does, and Stanford is not an easy gig for anybody, has it been, but he had some great success there, and I think that he would definitely be a guy you could see making that type of a leap.
Yeah, I don't think he's going back to college, unless it's a mega job. I don't think he's going to go back, but he was at one time the rising star. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden that didn't work out well. Stanford kind of fell apart.
But before he went to Stanford, he had multiple years in the NFL as an assistant coach. Yep. So he's definitely not a newbie to the NFL coaching ranks. So yeah, I could definitely see him as somebody who's on TV and does that type of a gig. I could definitely see that, and that'd be probably the less stressful option for him, but still lucrative.
Number 4, Tom Herman. Look, he's at Florida Atlantic right now. That seems to be going okay for him. But if he doesn't get, another big gig, and he's a high-strung dude anyway. He went to the NFL for a couple years or for a little bit and was with the Bears on their staff, and then came back and was with Florida Atlantic. I could just see him going, you know what, I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm going to go be a coordinator or a position coach in the NFL.
We got a taste of it with Chicago, right?
He got a taste of it. Like, maybe he's trying to get back in, but I don't think if he can get a bigger job than Florida Atlantic and then wrap his arms around the new world, it wouldn't surprise me, especially given how, again, high-strung, intense he gets, that maybe the NFL is just better for him personally.
Yeah, I'll disagree here. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. But, I mean, he's really been a college guy his whole career. That's what he is. He had an analyst job with Chicago for that year, but what did he do after that? He came to Florida Atlantic to be their head coach and to get back into the college ranks. So I think there's always going to be a place for Tom Herman in college football, like a place for him to be a head coach. And I don't know, with his personality, even though he's matured apparently and he's not the same guy mocking the other team on the sidelines during a bowl game, like that guy seems to have grown up a little bit, but he still seems like personality-wise he's still more accustomed or more suited for college football than he is for the NFL. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I just have a hard time seeing him like lead an NFL team of young adults or adult men, and he just doesn't have that gravitas for me.
I would just think being a position coach.
A position coach, I'm thinking of head coaches only. Yeah. So, a position coach, sure. But, he came back to college football pretty quick. So, I think that's right now where his bread's buttered. But we'll see how it goes in Boca Raton.
Yeah, the Chip Kelly path would be not being a head coach and just going. Yeah. Number 3, Justin Wilcox. I don't think that he is happy about the conference that his team is in. I think that he is probably stressed out by the resources that he is allocated by his university based on what other teams of their size get. And I could see him taking another college job and being successful and happy, but would it surprise me to see him you know what, I'm going to be a coordinator for a couple years, whether it's in college or pro, and just figure out my next move, because this going across the country to play all my games and this weird recruiting spot I'm in and all this, I could be just kind of done. Like, if I were him, I might be kind of done with it already.
Yeah, possibly. It's not the easiest job in the world, Cal. That's not the rosiest place at the moment either with the whole conference move, as you mentioned. I know that he's been linked to other jobs in the past. I don't know about NFL type of an interest, and I haven't looked at his bio to see if has he even coached in the NFL before. I don't even know.
No, he's at Oregon, I know.
Yeah, but sure. I mean, as far as somebody getting tired of the college football landscape and all that comes with that, especially all the extra handcuffs that you have being at Cal versus being at a bigger school, I could see where that does wear on you a little bit.
No, never been in the NFL. So, but he's he's been other places
Got a
as
long
a
way to
defensive
go.
coordinator. But yeah, it would not surprise me to see. Well, I mean, like even the Chip Kelly, like does Justin Wilcox maybe leave Cal and go be the defensive coordinator at like North Carolina or something? You know, like
possibly
something like that. Number 2, Billy Napier. His run at Florida has been rocky, to say the least. And it's not for his lack of trying. And no one has gotten rocked by the NIL thing worse than Billy Napier has, because he lost his number 1 quarterback recruit based on a faulty NIL deal. Plus, he's about to go through the biggest wood chipper of a schedule in the history of wood chipper schedules. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him maybe back down, go be an OC somewhere for a couple years, and restart the engines a little bit, because Florida, it should have been a lot smoother for him at a place like that, and it hasn't been. Maybe some of that's him, but they entered the NIL world and the new world a lot rockier than I thought a place that has as many resources as the Gators do would, right? I mean, like they should have been set up for this for a long time, and then it just seems that they were ill prepared.
All right, are they better now than when he arrived?
I don't know.
I don't either.
They're not.
It's just like maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
They've won less games both years, so
it's been tumultuous.
Yeah. So yeah, it would not surprise me to see him just be like, you know what, I just got to step back for a minute and re-get my bearings. And number 1,
bearings. He's making big money unless he's told to leave.
Yeah. But number 1, Dave Aranda. He is very and again, if it doesn't work out at Baylor, he's probably going to be an assistant somewhere, you would think, next year. But and this is only if it didn't work out, if all the moves he's made, because this is a dude who is idealistic as anybody you're ever going to meet. And you can tell the uncomfortability with the way that things go and like how far. I mean, the question I asked him was like, how do you have to find what you're comfortable with doing to keep you competitive with the people who are comfortable with doing anything? Like there are coaches and programs out there that are like, they don't have any, there's no ethical qualms.
You almost
about
said cutthroat.
Yeah, it's cutthroat. Like they don't have any ethical qualms about the way they're getting players. That's where Dave Aranda is a very ethical dude. And so like he wrestles with those things. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him, like if his head coaching tenure comes to an end, whether it be now or sometime in the future, to again take a step back and be a coordinator somewhere, just because again, it's just he would never maybe be comfortable with it until there's more structure.
I mean, I think he'll be comfortable if they win games. I mean, that's all the NIL stuff and all the other different things that maybe are stressing out coaches. Those seem to not be as big of a deal as when you're winning games. Yeah. So when you haven't been winning, like he hasn't been winning for a year and a half now or a season and a half, it's been very trying. But I think he's as much suited for high school football or being the head coach at like a service academy as he would be for as far as other opportunities. That seems to be, more of the service aspect and the focus on faith and those types of things as much of his alley as anything. But if he just wants to coach football and cut out all of the noise, then yeah, the NFL could provide that for him. But I think if he wants to be a person who's, in service, not only in football, but on the field, then we'll see if college football's still set up for a guy like him moving forward. But like I said, I think high school football or service academy is more of where you'll find that these days. And I think he's trying to hold on to that somewhat at Baylor. But again, you have to win games. And so that's why I hope he wins some games, not only because it just makes everything better to cover, but because I want to believe that can work. And it doesn't have to all be dollar signs and those types of things that make you successful, or that you have to have those things to be successful in college football. I would like to think that there's a way to develop the human being. I know there's other programs, big programs like Kirby Smart develops young men and things. I'm sure Nick Saban developed young men. I'm not saying you can't have the big dollars and not do that, but I do think that's his focus. His focus is the pure game of football and the human being aspect and the faith aspect, and not all of this other stuff. But ultimately, you have to win games. And
he has changed his mind as he's needed.
And he's had to evolve along the way.
Yeah.
But I could see him taking a different route, but remaining in the game of football. So NFL-wise, I'm not sure how much interest he's gotten over the years, but certainly a lot of his former players are stacking up rosters right now.
I hope he's successful, not because we cover Big 12, Baylor, whatever. This guy here But
No,
you just wonder if it's just going to get run into the ground because of the way the game is or how it's being run right now.
I want it for him.
Yeah.
And the coach,
Yeah.
I
agree.
Nice, the cliche is nice guys finish last, right? And I don't believe that at all. But I think that there's a place in the world for Dave Aranda, brilliant, wonderful human beings like Dave Aranda is, a very compassionate man. There's a place for him to succeed.
However, he's getting paid a lot of money
Yes.
to win football games.
Yes. So I hope it goes
Yeah.
that way for him because, when you treat people right, you deserve to have that.
Either he wins this year or he doesn't, and if he doesn't, it's going to have to be for some unbelievable circumstances because he's changed his staff now basically every year.
Well, it's year
Coordinators,
5.
yes.